What it do, you two? Welcome back to day 3. Le jour 3. 3 pour la vidéo ce soir. Welcome back to the video. This is my vlog day 3. And we're talking about, the great stuff, the good stuff, the stuff that you, the people, would like to know about. Now, before we even get started, if you haven't already, I want you to like this video. I want you to comment on this video. And I want you to and I want you to and I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. But today's video is just for the people because the people have spoken. I posted a video on my social media. And it was actually not a video, it was a question saying, hey, would you like to know what it's like? If you have any questions that you like answered on Sit in the Air Akeem, just comment on this video, on this post, and I will answer your questions on my next YouTube video. Well, today is my next YouTube video. So today is going to be questions answered by me from you, just so I can give you a little bit of intel on what it's like. What it's like. Day 3, welcome bike. Friends and family feud, we're just going to dive right into our questions. So the first question here on Instagram, we have one of my followers, D. D asked me, what is one of your dream matches? Um, I'm going to name 2 if that's okay, just because I have lots of freaking dream matches. But yeah, I mean, one would have to be Randy. Randy Orton, he's in my top 3 favorite wrestlers all time. Not because he's from St. Louis, well, that's a big part of it, but he also does great work. And then obviously, I'm not going to name anyone dead, even though I would love to. I'm going to name Rey Mysterio. I mean, just look at me, look at the way I wrestle. Obviously, I molded my craft a little bit from Ray, representation of the smaller guys. He's the man. So yeah, so let's say Randy and Ray. Appreciate that question. Next question, forgive me if I mispronounce this name. It is Ashana. Ajana. She said, what was one thing you remember learning from Triple H or Shawn Michaels? Um, I'm going to be honest. I don't really learn anything from them per se. Um, they were great bosses. They gave me opportunities, I think. But I don't remember learning anything specifically from those 2, unfortunately. Now, if you name someone else in the company, I possibly could have given you an answer, but not those guys. Sorry. But great question, though. Next question would be from Lewis. I can't even see the last name, but Lewis, you said, hey. You didn't say hey. You said, how welcoming is an indie locker room when a former WWE talent is brought into it? Great question, Lewis. I've been very blessed because every locker room that I've attended on the indies, it's been nothing but love. Regardless of, how I was booked on WWE, what title I won, whatever, I still come with the wealth of knowledge because I was around some of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. And so it's super welcoming. I also walk in with nothing but respect for people on the indies and people that's been grinding for a long, long time. And so the respect is always mutual. I'm a big proponent of You have to give respect to get it. And I most definitely I do give everyone uh, the same amount of respect, whether it's an indie locker room or on the main roster, WWE, AEW, NXT, etc., etc. Great question, Lewis. I love that question. Okay. Next question comes from Jay Karma. It's I stand Jay Karma. Actually wrestled with him in BST. Super cool, super dope person. His question is, if you could give any advice to younger wrestlers who are breaking out or at least trying to on the indies and eventually turn this into a professional career, what would be the best thing you would say? Great question, because obviously this is about you. You want to learn, you want to break through, and you want to do it. I would say stay at it. You know, my career is a great testament to that there's no timetable on how this thing or when this thing is supposed to work. Everyone's like path and everyone's journey is completely different. You know, I had zero experience when I started, and I spent the majority of my wrestling career on the grandest stage, WWE or NXT. And so I wanted it though. I wanted it more than other people that were in my class. I wanted it more than you know, wanted to breathe sometimes. I trained my tail off. I put myself and positioned myself around the right people because I knew that if I didn't do that, then I was going to be a fish dead in the water. And so I say, just go for it. Regardless of what this person says or that person says, you have to do what makes you happy and you have to do this for you, not for anyone else, not for someone else's dream, your friend's dream. You have to love it because this business is not easy at all. So stay at it, get as much training as you possibly can, surround yourself with the right people, and everything, all above everything else, be a decent person because it helps in the long run. And if people, promoters, or other wrestlers don't see it, it's good for you. And if you do good in the world, you put good energy out, then you receive all of that good stuff. So yeah, stay at it, my dude, and I'll see you soon. Next question comes from Eric Freeman. He said, I have a question. When feuds happen like Jada and Noemi's, do you, I mean, I think he meant to say Jade, but do you get paid based on how intense the feud is? Um, Good question. I don't think you get paid. Well, you don't get paid on how intense the feud is. You get paid when you do some damn good work. And those two ladies are doing some damn good work. So you best believe that if I go out there and people are reacting and biting on all cylinders, then we got something here. So let's keep this going. Let's keep this train moving as far and as long as possible because we want to milk this thing until it's completely dry. But yeah, normally, good question, Eric. This question here comes from CTS. What are those acronyms, bro? Or sis? I don't even know. Question is, what is the hardest flip you do in the ring? Um, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I don't really do any hard flips in the ring. I do different flips, and the things that I do may look difficult to the average eye or wrestling fan because it's unorthodox and you don't really see it often. But if any of my circus buddies came and saw me flip, they was like, "Oh, that's an easy flip." I try to work smarter, not harder. I do things that look unique and look, you know, extravagant because I don't want to do the same old boring duck the line and blah blah blah. I do a back handspring and make it look violent. So yeah, appreciate the question though. Next question comes from Joanna. Joanna, how do you feel about debuting on ACW? Look, I'm about to show up and show out. I'm super pumped. I'm excited because, you always want to make a good first impression. And this is my debut match in this company, and I have no choice but to show up and show out. Because for one, I do want to get brought back. I would love to build a long lasting partnership with ACW. So I'm going to show up, show out. I'm going to do what I do best, entertain, wow the fans, and take ACW to a whole nother level. Next question is from Vaughn. And I'm going to double check to see if that's King Vaughn. No, it's not King Vaughn. Come on now, cut it out. You know where he at. Vaughn said, when you was on the Indies, which is now, what was stage hardest? I'm just gonna read it between the lines. I think you were probably typing while you were driving or something. When you was on the Indies, what was the hardest stage part of getting recognized? Yeah, I didn't even read between the lines. I'm just gonna try. Um, what was the hardest part? I guess you're asking me what was the hardest part of getting recognized on the Indies? Question mark. I'm just gonna answer that question. Um, I came from WWE, so I came with a name already. I had to get over that stigma or that stench that I was the 24/7 sommelier gimmick character wrestler, and that was pretty easy after my very first match on GCW with Jack Cartwheel. People saw that, oh snaps, this guy is more than just what he was presented as on WWE. And so, that match with Jack Cartwheel, it went viral immediately. Immediately. And, it was just a testament to the work that I put in well before even starting wrestling. I knew that I was made to perform, to entertain. And people need to understand that I come from Cirque du Soleil, where people go to Cirque du Soleil for the experience. You go there for the experience, and the things you see are just like out of this world. So why wouldn't I be out of this world when I perform in a wrestling ring? So it wasn't a hard part to get recognized because social media did everything for me. I mean, I did the match, but once it was posted on the interweb, the thing just went viral. I've been in the gym, so I'm looking good. Wrestling without a shirt coming soon. Great question, Vaughn. Not King. Next question comes from Tucker M. I think he has several questions. I'm going to answer only one because I only said one question, brother. He said, I heard you're trying to come to Blitz Pro. When's that being made? Brother, I already wrestled on Blitz Pro, Blitz Creek. I already wrestled there. I wrestled Ichiban, number one dojo, and I whooped his ass. It was actually a really good match. Very good, hard hitting, back and forth match. Check the video out. Good question. I was moving my watch. Cut it out. I was moving my watch. Yeah, boy. Next question comes from. I don't see. It's gonna look like I can't read now, but this guy's username is, I don't know if it's Sham. It's SHMW underscore 311. That's who this question is from. His question is, how did you feel when you were doing the Scripps character in NXT? Now that is a question that I will not go into a lot of detail because I have to do a separate video about that character. Let's just say that character, when I pitched it, it had all the grounds to be something unique. When it was presented, it wasn't that. Now, I'm not going to point fingers on who to blame because I was technically the guy behind the mask. But the original character that Sidney Akeem, at the time Reggie, wanted to go was not this dark poet. Someone was fixated on this idea of a dark poet, and I just happened to do poetry. And so we created this character. Full video coming on that character, so don't miss it because if you missed it, you missed it, and you don't want to do that. Hey, Sean SW Dude, great question. Next question comes from KJ5, Kenny the Kid. Um, you're one of my favorite wrestlers out here. Oh, appreciate that, dog. Uh, but what is some advice you have for up and coming wrestlers or people who want to get into the business? This is very similar to the question I got a little bit ago. I'm going to reiterate: stay at it. Stay at it. Don't let anyone tell you no. If this is your dream to chase, then go chase it. Like, only person that matters is you. You can stop you. You can stop yourself from reaching your dreams. No one else can but you. Stay at it. Keep going. Stay focused. Great question, bro. I appreciate you too. Next question comes from Scott Peterson, and he has a hockey jersey with his girlfriend, I believe, with the hockey jersey. Cute couple. Cute couple. Okay. Question: how much can you control in terms of wrestling full time? And what should be the biggest focus in terms of creating your own brand? That's a great question. I mean, you control it. If you want to wrestle full time, then you wrestle full time. If it doesn't pay the bills, then you control if you have to get a regular job and then you wrestle on the side until your wrestling can provide and supply you the means to only wrestle, then you do that. In terms of creating your brand, I mean, look at Matt Cardona. Look at some of these big names on social media that are doing it through social media. There are so many ways to skin the cat these days. You just have to find your niche and go for it. And again, stay active, stay positive, and stay at it, brother. Great question. Thank you for that question. Next question comes from, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce this. Buku Pukalatu Falisha. Yeah, I can't read that. Bukaletu Oficial. Bukaletu Oficial. I apologize, bro. I'm going to put this photo up here, but I can't pronounce that. Is that French? I don't know if it's French. But your question is, how were you able to time each flip properly compared to training without messing up? Brother, I've been training since I was 11 years old. I've been doing acrobatics since I was 3. So literally, acrobatics is like walking for me. I very much so can do this in my sleep. And so that's been countless hours and years of perfecting these acrobatic moves that when I do them now, it feels like water. It feels like second nature. And, you know, that's what it is. So that's about it. I mean, once you train something for a long enough time, it becomes like that, right? And that's with any discipline. I'm sure LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, all of these guys, Pat Mahomes in their respective fields, these guys do things that may look like abnormal or incredible to us, but for them, it's just another day at the office, right? So that's what it is. Lots of training, and staying at it. Great question, bro. Next question comes from Hayden. Hayden said, "What was the overall worst bump you have ever taken in your entire career?" That is easy. I took the, I guess it's the tree slam from Omas. Oh my lord! And the bump wasn't even bad. It was just I was falling forever, forever, forever.
Forever. Forever.
Oh my goodness, I was falling for so long. But that was the worst bump by far. And that's my dog. Really good friend of mine. Love that guy. Shout out to Omas. This next question is coming from Dylan. He said, was the big top pop finish your idea? Yes, it was. Again, I can't pronounce this name, so I'm going to put it on the screen. Oh, say Ken 91. I guess it's fine. I don't even know what the question got. He asked, I got one as a fellow St. Louisan. Oh my gosh. Louisian. St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. Did I lose it? St. Louisian. St. Louisian. He said, I got a question. Which news anchor duo was better, Tom and Mandy or Jennifer and Art? Brother, I only know that one dude from in the morning that used to do like the juggling and circus and stuff. I never even watched the news, dog. And I left a long time ago. So I hope I don't lose my St. Louisian card for that. But good question. Sorry I haven't answered. Next one is from Joseph Lee K. I'm JD. This question was, how was it being scripts? I thought the concept was interessante, but was it your idea or a character WWE wanted you to play? Originally, it was my idea, but it turned out into a character they wanted me to play. I'm going to tell you the real story about how I pitched going under a mask. And to be honest, it included one of the most famous masked wrestlers ever, Rey Mysterio. And guess what? He actually agreed to it. That's a story for another day. Hey, I'm just a messenger, dog. I'm just a messenger. Great question, Joseph. Oh my gosh, how many more do I have, dog? Next question comes from Destin. Destin. He goes, would you ever consider going back? Of course, I would never turn down some manyan. I would never turn down some manyan. But again, no, I have no hard feelings. It's a business. I can't be upset about a business being a business, right? And so that's just what it is. I will go back if they call, but I have to make sure it's the right situation because I don't want to end up like this time. Brian, WWE fan, you said, what was it like working with Carmella? Carmella was freaking awesome. I mean, all the women I worked with were freaking awesome. Carmella, it was great. It was my first time ever going to the main roster, first ever storyline that I was in. Super appreciative of her. She taught me a lot. Great friend, great mentor. I had an all around blast with her, and I would never ever trade those moments in for anything. Great question. This next one is Angel from Angel Peshtoro. Godspeed Revival. He said, how do you go about scheduling events? Who does the logistics, travel, payment, booking? Do you do that your own? Or interested to see how independence works? I do it all myself. I have an agent. My agent will book me on certain gigs, and he will get all of the flight and things figured out. But mainly, it's my agent if he gets me a booking, or if I book it myself, I have the promoter take care of everything. Me personally, a lot of people are different. A lot of people do this, but I have travel and room and board taken care of on top of whatever I get paid for the show, and that's it. Yep. Peace. Thank you, bro, for the question. This is from Will, the curliest referee. Will's my dog. He ref me a couple times, and he's a great ref, great guy. He said, What's one thing WWE does that indies should do?" Oh man, One thing, uh, okay, this is the first time I may be stumped on the question because there's multiple things I feel that indies companies should be doing, but obviously no one has the resources that WWE has, so it can be difficult. So choosing one may be hard, but I'm going to give a crack at it. Um, I feel that indie companies should do things for the community. I know it's about building up your brand and making your product the best thing possible. But when you're going into these towns, you know, think about some of the underprivileged um, kids or people in that town and give them a free wrestling ticket or something like that, bring them to the show, have these kids or have like some program to where, okay, you get to experience a wrestling show if you come and like help set up, be ring crew, see the ins and outs of what goes into um, put it on a wrestling show. It can be beneficial for that company and also getting people to help, but also it's giving other people like kids that wouldn't have this opportunity an outlet. And that's what WWE does in some of the best ways. The community service work and the giving back to the community, not each one, but all of this stuff they do for underprivileged um, people and whatnot. So I would say that is one thing that may be a tall task, but I think that for sure. I think, guys, we answered all the questions. Look, I'm not going to do a long outro because this video is going to be long, but I appreciate everyone that stuck around and listen to me answer all these questions. I appreciate everyone that sent a question for me to answer. Um, Comment in this video if you were satisfied with the answer for your question. And if you want more videos like this of me answering questions for you guys, I believe that your voices should be heard too. And I'm all about connecting with my fans. So I appreciate you guys. Share this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell your people about me. Peace.